Welcome back, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about Sapiens, A Brief History of Mankind. Wow, this book was overhyped. Let me tell you. It was overhyped, okay? It was good, but overhyped. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to give you the score right now. Middle of the road, 5 out of 10 book. The start was immaculate. Then it started dragging. Bro had so many interesting things to say at the start, and then it just dwindled. And I can't, man. It starts off, it's like, yeah, we had all these different kinds of people. We had the Neanderthals, we had the Homo sapiens, we had the Homo erectus, and it's like, oh, dude, this is cool. And the Latin roots of Homo is man and sapien is wise, so wise man. Yeah, it's super cool. And then it just dives off a cliff, because what is it? It's like, I have the chapters pulled up right here so I can kind of remember. I'm not gonna lie, this book took me a good, I'd say, 2 months to read. I was off and on with it a lot. Sorry, not sorry. So an animal of no significance, we kind of started at the bottom of the food chain, hunted with spears, what have you. Somewhere around 70,000 years ago, though, we ended up having the cognitive revolution, and is why Homo sapiens are now top of the food chain, because we learned how to strategize, not just against animals, but against each other. And that is why we were able to defeat the Neanderthals, right? They were stronger and bigger than us, but they weren't as smart. They weren't able to strategize or really understand complex formations. So yeah, it's like, okay, that's cool. And then it starts talking about, what does it talk about? It starts talking about money and how women didn't get any, and how they were oppressed in, different races. It's like, okay, dude, I get it. I've had a history class before. You don't have to repeat this to me. Also, A Brief History of Mankind. That's the subtitle to this book. It is anything but brief. This book is 540 pages long. Okay? So pardon me for taking 2 months, right? Also, pardon me if you guys have seen my Insta. I said I read it in 2025. I read all of it except the last chapter. I couldn't bring myself to finish the last chapter, and I did it today. And the thing is, the last chapter literally talks about things that I've already heard about, how they're mixing DNA with between an elephant and something else to get a woolly mammoth. It's not actually a woolly mammoth, but it's gonna look and act like one. It's really cool to hear that, but I've already heard it, so eh. And then it started talking about the future and how we're gonna be all, computers in the brain, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I've heard about that already. I did find some middle bits very interesting, like religion. That's scary to talk about, but religion, it talks about how with that, it's really easy to control large groups of people with such an ideology, and that might have been part of our evolution to get us all to conform and be together. Also, it talks about the agricultural revolution, which is pretty cool. I thought that was interesting. We learned that we can kind of just stay in one area. We don't always have to be on the move. And yeah, that was some pretty cool stuff. What are some other things? I think that's about all the main things, things I found very interesting in the book. I think that's all I really want to talk about. Oh yeah, also, there are people IRL that have Homo erectus DNA, Neanderthal DNA, whatever, and it talks about the history of that and how that was kind of controversial to even maybe put that out there. But no, it's just because you have Neanderthal DNA doesn't mean you're stupid, even though that's how we associate it. We're like, oh, Neanderthal, they're not that smart. It turns out if you have that DNA, because it says around 2 to 3% of the population has it, turns out you're just going to be more resistant to the cold, and on average, you should be stronger. And then Homo erectus, pretty self-explanatory, you'll probably be taller. But yeah, I found this book to be okay. It has a few moments where I'm just like, dude, can you get off my back? I've already heard this in all my history classes, how certain races were oppressed and how women were oppressed, and we heard about it, okay? Maybe I'm tired of it. I've heard it. It's been done to death. But, you know, we're in the 21st century now. Things are a lot better. I get it. History is shitty. Just the way it is. Yeah, this book is from 2014 also. It doesn't show its date, but I don't know, I found it not as appealing knowing that it's from 2014, or at least that's when he kept saying it was, that's where he was taking his references or whatever. It was originally published in Hebrew in 2011 and in English in 2014. Okay, so there's that. If any of that sounded interesting and you like some of the nitty-gritty stuff, like money and capitalism and how that all kind of interweaves, even then it doesn't really do, I mean, it does an okay job at it. I don't know, parts of it were just not for me. Then there were parts I was a huge fan of. There were a lot of moments where I was like, dude, this is like a 2 out of 10 experience. And there are moments where I'm like, dude, this is a straight 10 out of 10 experience. Like the agriculture stuff. I don't know why I found that so appealing. And then just the different types of people and the buildings that we would make that kind of showed our evolution. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, then it's talking about like politics and stuff and how that all played. And I'm like, this is boring. I don't like this. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I can't, in good faith, recommend it, just because of how long it is as well. That plays a big role. But yeah, that's another one I wanted to cover. I didn't want to keep covering a bunch that I really like, even though I plan on having the next video being Siddhartha, and I love that book, and it's short. So there you go. Finally, a book I didn't really like that I'm covering. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.